Hello and welcome to my channel. This is part 4 of the questions to ask, information to know when you want to become a certified Pilates instructor. So far we have looked at what changed in the Pilates industry since the pandemic. We have looked at what kind of courses you could be taking. So you know, Pilates comprehensive courses include teaching on all the Pilates pieces of apparatus. So if you don't know what Pilates pieces of apparatus you need to be looking out for, watch this video over here, and that's going to run through a summary of the pieces of apparatus that Joseph Pilates has created to run the Pilates method. Now, when it comes to you learning a little bit more about what's to be involved in a Pilates comprehensive course, you have to start understanding a big difference and a big political issue in the Pilates industry. And it is also classed as taboo, and many people try to shy away from it. It creates a lot of arguments in the industry. No doubt that maybe even this video will create arguments in the industry about it. But there are two things to understand. First of all, Pilates, the industry is divided between the classical world and the contemporary world. Now, I can't be going into what the classical world looks like and what the contemporary world looks like because my video will never stop. But I'm just going to quickly give you a quick briefing of the different systems. Now, the biggest difference between the two different systems is this, that the classical world has a specific order of exercises for the mat work and for the reformer work. So the mat work has a set of exercises, a list of exercises that have to be followed in an order. And whether you are a beginner, whether you're an intermediate, whether you're advanced, you still have to follow the order. You can miss exercises out, but you can't chop and change from the beginning to the end. Okay, that's essentially what the classical order is like, and the same goes for the reformer. Then the other pieces of apparatus, there's essentially no order for them, but they are taught on classical equipment, which was designed very similar to the way that Joseph Pilates built his pieces of apparatus. Then the contemporary world has no essential order in the way that you teach the exercises. So this is the biggest change. So you can have an exercise from the mat order that normally is done at the beginning, but they place it more towards the end, or maybe they do more creative styles of the mat work order. And the same goes for the reformer. And so the teacher could perhaps begin with an exercise that is normally in the classical world more towards the end of the repertoire, and maybe mix a few other exercises in with it. The contemporary world has kind of got the leeway to be a little bit more creative. And they also do exercises on pieces of apparatus that are not built in the same specifications as what Joseph Pilates created. So then the exercise would feel a little bit different. It might look the same, but it would feel different on a different piece of apparatus. That is the biggest two biggest differences in those two worlds. So one huge thing in classical, and I know it doesn't really exist in the contemporary world, is the transitions between exercises. So the teacher would teach an exercise, but then from one exercise to another, there is a transitional exercise that is just as important as the true exercise as taught by Joseph Pilates. So the transitions are a very crucial part of the classical world, classical Pilates world. Whereas in the contemporary world, there's not many big transitions that you need to consider. Now, looking at a comprehensive course and looking at doing the comprehensive course as a system, the biggest thing you need to consider as a student and for your course provider to be able to provide you with are 4 huge things. So we're looking at, when you are doing a course, is the course level or module going to teach you the setup of the apparatus? How do I set my apparatus up? With the reformer, where does the foot bar go? Which position should the foot bar be in? The headrest, does it go up? Does it go down? What springs do I need to be using? What about the leg springs, etc., etc. So the setup of the apparatus is important. Then the second thing is the transitions, as I mentioned. So your course provider, if they are a classical school, should be able also to give you the transitions. The transition is how one exercise ends and then how the next following exercise should start. The progressions for the exercises, are you given an explanation of if it is, for example, an intermediate exercise that you're teaching and you see that a client cannot do the intermediate exercise? Can you give the client a progressive exercise? So maybe you give them an easier exercise on another piece of apparatus to be able to progress to that particular exercise that you're wanting to teach them. Likewise, can they progress from that intermediate exercise to a more advanced exercise, maybe on another piece of apparatus? And then the final thing, fourth thing, is the kind of modifications that you can give. So as I mentioned, progressions from one level to another, modifications are also crucial. So if you see that a client, for example, is not able to lift their head up because they start to get neck problems and neck pain when their head is up and they're doing their, for example, 100 exercise, what kind of what kind of modifications do you give them? And in that case, of course, there are various modifications. Maybe you put the head down, maybe you place a cushion underneath their head. What kind of modifications are you going to be able to give to the client when you are teaching them? And these are important things to know, because you know what? You can injure somebody if you don't know what you're doing. So those really are the 4 major highlight points that you need to know when you are doing your teacher training program. Does the course offer this? Does the course content offer and cover those 4 things? If this gave you a ton of clarity and you found this video helpful, please do hit the like, because that's going to increase the algorithm for other people to be able to view the video and will be able to reach other people, help other people to find out a little bit more about the Pilates industry and how to become Pilates teachers. Now, if you really love to dive deeper and find out a little bit more about how you can become a Pilates teacher, then I'm your girl, because I have been doing this for decades and this is my passion. This is what I love to do. I've helped people all over the world to become teachers, to have their own businesses and to make that dream life that they've always wanted. Now, I live Pilates, I breathe it. This is my passion. I would love to have you check in with me and join me on something super special that I'm going to be doing that nobody else in the industry is offering at this stage. So I would love to invite you to join me on a retreat format to come and join our next teacher training program, which is going to be starting in April 2023 in our Finca retreat on the Costa Blanca in Spain. You will be living, eating, breathing Pilates just as we do. You'll be taking Pilates lessons and tutorials at our Pilates center, which is close by, and you'll be able to really fully immerse yourself in becoming a Pilates teacher. First module starts in April 2023. Check out the information in the description below. Lots and lots of information there for you. And if you can't join us live in our retreat, you're able to join us on a live stream that we're going to be giving out to anyone who's wanting to join us from their homes. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. Of course, it would be so amazing to have you here in Spain, but I understand that logistics maybe sometimes can't help you. So if you're really wanting to join us live, we'll be doing a live stream. It's not going to be recorded. You will be actually live with us. You'll have the opportunity to ask questions. You'll have the opportunity to integrate with the same members of the group. So I would really love to see you there. Just check out the link below. There's more information as well in the same description below. So guys, remember, business is simple. Business is simple. There's no reason why we can't make a life, why we can't make a living from a passion that we have. I'd love you to subscribe to my channel. Until my next video, goodbye.